I lucked out. So you saw a picture like this the other day, had some nice ice on the front, right? I posted on the community page, but I ended up with a 1959 John Deere 730 diesel electric start, narrow front, 2 remotes, 3-point hitch. Did not expect to purchase this machine. I went to an auction just to go to an auction to watch some tractors sell, some parts tractors, namely. There was a 620 there that I thought was interesting, and there was a 720 there. It would have been a parts machine. I think it was even stuck. And this was actually consigned. It was not on the sale bill at all. It showed up and it was sitting there running, and it's got the wheels set in narrow. So I took the trailer for some weird reason. Had the wheels set narrow, and it means I can fit it on my car hauler trailer since they're not set out wide. And so that means it fit on the trailer. So I bought it. You know, we're going to have to go through it. If you followed my 820 series from several years ago, those videos aren't necessarily the best, but, you know, we're going to basically go through that one just like we did that 820. I'm not going to start it up right now. I probably will not start it up in this video. I've got a couple things that I really want to do to it prior to winter, and today is, you know, probably today we're supposed to be up about 35 degrees. It snowed yesterday. That's what ice on the front of the machine, but I don't know what the coolant system is like, or cooling system is like. I don't know what kind of antifreeze it has in it, anything like that. So I am going to focus today on getting the radiator drained, the cooling system drained, and everything. And then I will worry about, once I've got all that done, I will worry about starting it, but I don't want to do any of that while it's warm, anything like that. In fact, I put a heater under it last night just to make sure none of this froze, because we got down to about 28 degrees last night. But the first thing I'm going to do is take this front rock shaft, these front rock shafts off. So this would be for a cultivator. Basically, the hydraulic cylinder would hook here and here, I believe. And the hydraulic cylinder would lift the cultivator up and down. The cultivator would hook to these pins right here. And this is a dual rock shaft mount, so you can mount a cylinder on either side. If you look over here, this looks identical, so you can hook a cylinder to this side as well. But basically, I don't have a cultivator that goes on this, so I want to pull these brackets off. To do that, it looks like I need to pull these cap screws. And then after I pull these cap screws, hopefully these, they're just splined, and I can just either pull them off very gently, something along those lines with a puller. But I think that's what I'm gonna do first. And I might drain or let the radiator drain while I'm doing that. I don't exactly know. I got to crawl up underneath it and look, see how everything's put together. But basically, I don't want to move it from right here since it's nice and cold. I'm not adding cold water to the engine while the engine's warm. So we're going to go from there. But other than that, you know, I think I've got a couple clutch issues. It's really hard to over center the clutch, so I'm probably going to have to pay attention to that. Like I said, the 3-point, I'm missing one, the sway lock down there on the 3-point. It is dual hydraulics, has a 540 PTO. It's got a hydraulic cylinder hanger, float ride seat. The rear tires need to be replaced, and one front tire needs to be replaced. If you didn't know, one of the things on these 730s, I do need to pull this flywheel cover and see if I need to put a new flywheel on there, a taper lock flywheel. That is those flywheels can get loose over time. And then because the wheels are so narrow, it is actually very difficult to get up on this machine. Very, very difficult to get up on this machine. So that is something that we will have to deal with here in the near future, just because it's, I mean, to get up there is extremely challenging. But we'll go ahead and let me see if I can climb up here while holding the camera. I mean, my leg barely fits in between the light and the tire. We'll kind of go over everything controls wise. Like I said, I'm not going to start it, but so many years ago, one of the reasons I've always wanted a 730, let me make sure you can see everything. Yep. So one of the reasons I've always wanted a 730 is I sat on one, oh gosh, probably back in 2013, 2014. And I I set up on it. It was pony start. Just looking out over that hood is amazing to me. And I bought my 820 several years ago, and then I sold it because basically space, and I didn't have this current building we're sitting in. And frankly, it was just, it was $7,000+ sitting there not doing anything because I had nothing to do with it. So looking at the dash cluster, I don't think many of the gauges work. I know the oil pressure gauge seems to be stuck at high. The fuel gauge seems to be stuck on E, and the water gauge seems to be stuck at 140. The tachometer does work, 6,345 hours. I'm guessing that's probably 16,345 hours, just my guess. I tested all the gears yesterday. They seemed just fine. The PTO's got a little bit of noise in it when it's, I put it under a little bit of load using a light generator, and hopefully I will show you that in a future video if I still have it around. So to start it, to go through the starting procedure, like I said, I'm not going to do that. You would turn the ignition on, and then there's a decompression lever down here that you step on with your foot. And then basically the throttle's right here. You would push it forward to give the engine some diesel fuel, to fuel to the engine, and then the black button right here starts it. So, and then you basically, or turns over the starter, and then you release the decompression lever, adds compression to it, and it should start. Brakes on either side right there. Then you got your PTO. Like I said, it's kind of cramped up here for me. Basically your PTO, you would push forward, and that's your PTO control. And then you have your dual hydraulics and your rock shaft control right here. So pretty simple overall. And we'll go through the starting procedure, maybe, late this afternoon, once I get the radiator squared away. We'll go ahead and look into the starting procedure. I got to figure out what kind of oil filter it takes. Mostly from the standpoint of I want to go ahead and replace the oil. I'm going to put some 10W30 diesel oil in it. That way it can start over the winter if I want it to. It's not trying to start with 15W40. But you have to admit that the appearance over the hood of this tractor, I think, is just amazing. I drove it around for about 15 minutes yesterday, and I'll try to put some of those clips in this video. But yeah, so this will be the same type of service that we did to the 820. This will be part one of many. This will be a probably multi-year deal. Like I said, we got to get new tires for it. This is a machine that I am keeping. I want to put a wide front end on it at some point in time, so there will be some videos about that. But today is mostly just going to be a little bit of maintenance. Like I said, getting those brackets off, stuff like that, and then we will get the radiator drained and kind of go from there. So let me get all set up and figure out what I want to tackle first. See, I can't remember to do this. Well, I had a nice drive with the 730 this afternoon. We put some water and radiator flush in the radiator and cleaned the radiator out and the cooling system out. Wasn't that bad at all. I took it for a drive, probably drove it 3.5, 4 miles. Yeah, about that. And the water temperature gauge does work. So the oil gauge does not work. The tachometer works, the hour meter works, and the fuel gauge does not work. So let's start it up. So as I said, the decompression's down here. I've already got, so the ignition is now on. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of fuel and then make sure that, yep, it's disengaged. Just like that. And now it's running. So, take it for a drive. Clutch needs a little bit of work. But let's see here. We'll put it first. No, we'll put it in second. And turn the wheel a little bit. Trying to do this one-handed is a little bit of a challenge. There we go. It certainly sounds nice. It's a joy to drive. I don't want to get it back out on the muddy driveway because the tires are already dried out once. But yeah, it drives nice.